Liam Neeson. You won't believe how a soft-spoken kid from a cold, three-room house became the man whose voice can hush a room, and how the greatest love of his life turned triumph into heartbreak. Is peace finally walking beside Liam Neeson, or does the silence still follow him? He was born on the 7th of June, 1952, in Ballymena, Northern Ireland. Roman Catholic, in a mostly Protestant town, a boy who learned early how poverty makes people quiet. His dad, Barney Neeson, cleaned school corridors. His mum, Kitty Neeson, cooked for other people's children and came home with red hands and a brave face. Three sisters, Elizabeth, Bernadette, Rosaline, filled the house with noise he mostly kept to himself. To pull him out of his shell, his father sent 9-year-old Liam Neeson to a church boxing club. The room smelled of sawdust and grit, and the ropes were stained with old stories. He fought well, youth champion, 3 years running, until one night a clean shot scrambled his hearing and his nerve. He stepped away with no drama, just the realization that not every wound shows. Work came before dreams. He drove lorries through rain, hauled crates, shoveled grit, tried teacher training, counted pennies, skipped meals. Then, almost by accident, he swept floors at the Lyric Players Theatre in Belfast. The janitor got 2 lines. 2 lines turned into a calling. The stage gave him what hunger never could, a reason to stand still. Dublin, then London, tiny flats, split shoes, long walks when bus fare ran out. He kept going anyway. Bit by bit, the camera found him. A night in Excalibur, 1981. A soldier here, a priest there. Casting directors said he was too intense, too Irish, eyes too heavy for romance. He filed away the rejection slips like receipts for the struggle. Then, a director looked deeper. Steven Spielberg needed someone who could carry charm, sorrow, and strength without shouting. Liam Neeson stepped into Schindler's List, 1993, and came out changed. 7 Oscars for the film, a tidal wave of acclaim, and a reminder. Fame turns silence up, it doesn't turn pain down. He worked relentlessly. Michael Collins, Les Miserables, Gangs of New York, but the box office can be fickle. He poured his own money into smaller films because the story mattered more than the receipts. Then came The Curveball, a compact action thriller shot in Paris, expected to do fine. Taken 2008, detonated. Audiences didn't just see vengeance, they felt grief and resolve behind every line. The unexpected action star at 56? That was Liam Neeson, wearing decades of life like armor. But the road to that moment was paved with love and loss. On Excalibur, he fell for Helen Mirren, elegant, fearless, endlessly kind. For 4 years in a modest London flat, they built a small, real life of scripts, burnt toast, and borrowed sunlight. Pride, pressure, and timing pulled them apart, but the respect never faded. A few years later, a brief, gentle chapter with Julia Roberts reminded him he could laugh again. No drama, just 2 lives moving at different speeds. Then, destiny arrived with a clear voice and bright eyes. On Broadway's Anna Christie in 1993, Liam Neeson met Natasha Richardson theater royalty with a soul made for ordinary days. They married in 1994 and made a home where fame had to knock softly. 2 sons, Michal, 1995, and Daniel, 1996, filled their world with drawings, lopsided cakes, and muddy boots. He called her his compass. She called him home. March 2009 split the world in 2. A simple fall on a beginner ski slope near Montreal. A headache that wouldn't quit. Liam Neeson flew to the hospital and heard the words, "No script prepares you for." He held Natasha Richardson's hand, whispered love, and kept an old promise. Her organs saved 3 lives. Her absence carved a permanent room in his. "I think I died that day too," he said later, but he kept breathing because she would have wanted that. Work became a raft in a black sea. The Grey wasn't just a survival movie. It was a man wrestling the cold inside. The body keeps score. Around 2000, a serious motorcycle accident left his pelvis shattered and pain as a long-term tenant. He did his own stunts for years anyway because stubbornness can look a lot like courage. Past 60, he fought midnight cramps and the quiet traps of grief. He quit whiskey when it numbed more than it healed. Through it all, he chose steadiness. Michal later honored his mom by taking her surname Michal Richardson. His father called it a lovely homage. Daniel stayed close, calm, and watchful. Between the 3 of them, words weren't always needed. And now? At 73, Liam Neeson moves between New York and the countryside he once shared with Natasha Richardson. He has wealth. Sure, decades of films, theater, and narration. But luxury for him looks like quiet, long walks, and choosing a simple table over a noisy room. He supports causes without a megaphone, lends his voice where it matters, and treats fame like a tool, not a trophy. Every February, he brushes snow from a name and talks as if the next room might answer. Some loves don't end, they change shape. What about his heart today? He's joked that he's past all that, but life has a way of surprising even the stubborn. He's been photographed sharing easy smiles with Pamela Anderson while working on a comedy together. Maybe friendship, maybe more. Maybe just proof that warmth still finds its way through the cracks. Either way, he remains what he's always been. Grounded, courteous. A gentleman who knows that endurance isn't loud. It's the art of carrying pain without handing it to everyone around you. So, has peace found him? Maybe not every day. But watch him between takes, or hear that measured voice in a documentary, and you'll feel it a steadier rhythm, a softer landing. The boy who left boxing after a brutal hit learned something, the ring, you could never teach. You don't win by swinging harder, you win by standing longer. The man who lost the love of his life learned another truth. Grief isn't an enemy to defeat. It's a candle you carry because its light belongs to someone you still love. Now, if this story sat with you, if it nudged a memory of your own of someone you miss, or a fight you're still quietly winning, drop a thought below. What does resilience look like in your life? And if you want more human stories told with honesty and heart, tap like and subscribe. Not for numbers, for a little community where scars aren't a weakness, and endurance is the most underrated superpower. Here's to Liam Neeson and to you for finding a way to keep going, one calm breath at a time.